Hey everybody, in this video we're going to take a look at a peculiar error that can happen when importing animation from Vicon Shogun into Unreal. This only happens under a very specific circumstance. In this case, our Shogun system was set up for some broadcast work and was working in NTSC Drop Frame, and when imported into Unreal we started to see these really strange flips and flexes in the animation. And I'm not talking about the performance, of course, I'm talking about the little pops in the animation. So let's take a look at where this comes from and then how we can fix it. So first of all, I'll just go ahead and delete this animation and show you that if I go right click and I import the FBX, so it was this Mario flexing FBX, and I'll open it up and choose our skeletal mesh. That's our target. This is going to be the root edited Vicon actor with fingers, and I go ahead and I import. And one of the first indications is I actually get an import failed, and in my messaging I'm seeing some indication that the animation length has a decimal value, and there's something not compatible with the imported frame rate. And so we could address that with the import dialog. So if I do import to current folder, again I'm doing the Mario flexing. The main difference is that after I've selected my skeletal mesh, I'm going to go into animations and choose snap closest frame boundary. And this time when I import, I do still get some messages, but I get a successful import. So I'm still seeing some messages about these fractional frames, but the animation imported. However, when I do look at this import, then I have like these pops that are going on that are not desirable, and they're not showing up in Shogun. So where is this coming from and how do we fix it? So if I look at Shogun here, again, the animation looks perfectly fine. And really the challenge with the fractional frames is coming from the fact that we recorded in NTSC Drop Frame. So this is inherently not necessarily compatible with Unreal's import system. And where we get into trouble is if I select the the hip bone here, and then isolate just the X rotation, what you'll see is there's a lot of jumping up and down. And what's happening here is as the values for rotation get close to 180, Vicon switches the value from positive to negative to avoid any kind of a gimbal lock, so that the animation itself carries through, but we have this pop in values. Now visually there's no problem with that. Where we run into our issue is when we convert from drop frame into even 30 frames a second during the import process, we seem to be interpolating this curve in between these instances where the jumps here overlap with our drop frames. So we can address this directly in Vicon, so thank you to the Vicon support team for pointing this out to me. Basically, I have a little script in my script editor, and all it is a single command, resample, double quote, 30 hertz, quote, and then space 120 semicolon. So this command will resample the entire animation to an even 30 hertz, 120 frames a second. We can run this right here in the script editor, or in this case, I'm just going to copy it out of the script editor and paste it into the HSL command line. So we just do want to make sure HSL is activated. And then when I hit enter, now Shogun is going to process this entire clip. And now this clip is in the system as a 30 hertz 120. So then I will select my actor and go ahead and export a new copy of the FBX. Yes, I do want to replace it. And there we go. And then back in Unreal, I can go ahead and delete the old version just to make sure we get rid of the whole thing, and then right click and import our new version. So selecting this Mario flexing, and just to prove my point, I'm going to go ahead and set our skeletal mesh, but also make sure that here in animations I'm unchecking the snap to closest frame. So we're just going to import this directly without adjusting anything. And in this case, I don't get any indications of error messages. We get our import into the content browser and double click and we should be able to play, and now we don't have any popping. So if you happen to see that when you've imported your mocap from Shogun into Unreal, just double check your frame rate, and if it isn't an even frame rate, like 30 frames a second, you can use the resample command to get it to an even frame rate that imports cleanly into Unreal. I hope this helps. Until next time, have fun.